Good evening and welcome to the very special Christmas edition of the pre. Good evening and welcome to the very special Christmas edition. Welcome to a very special Christmas edition of the pre-weekend kickoff. I apologize for those of you who expected a show last week and there was no show. I had quite an interesting weekend, and I'll get to that in just a minute here. But this is the final show before Christmas. Probably have one before the new year. And so last week I had a very crazy week. It was coming out of working in Rochester, and I just wanted to relax. So I was working in Rochester. I had this printer job that I was doing over at the USDA office near the airport, and I actually was able to do that job just fine, and then I went over to the neighborhood where we used to live, and everything was going according to plan. It wasn't until the afternoon when I got around back to the Syracuse area, I decided to take the car in for an oil change, and everything went just fine. But then later on that afternoon, I noticed that there was a funny sign, or it was a warning that I'd never seen before on the car. And whenever those warnings come up or those messages come up, I am very, very panicked as to what I needed to do or what to do. The warning specifically said, I think, cooling performance of the hybrid battery is low, consult a dealer. Wherever it says visit your dealer, that's why I'm very concerned. And I called into Burdick and Romano Toyota to try to get a service appointment in, and I realized doing that would probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I figured I did some research online to try to figure out if there were any do-it-yourself or DIY strategies or DIY tips that I should be aware of. And I actually, lo and behold, I went online to YouTube, and I found there were a lot of people, not just YouTube, but there was a lot of talk online, mentions online about cleaning out the back seat of the car. Now keep in mind, the rear seat of my car was full. It was cluttered. It had a lot of papers, a lot of stuff in there, and it might have been blocking a vent. And so actually, if you don't know, the hybrid battery is underneath the vent. I mean, it's underneath the rear seat of the car, and the vent is located on the left-hand side. You can actually take apart the bottom part where your legs fit underneath the rear seat. You can open it up, and there's a vent, and the vent, circular vent, where the air passes through to cool the hybrid battery. And there was a lot of lint, there was a lot of dust under there, so I just cleaned it off, and I cleaned the actual vent itself, and I cleaned the back seat of the car, and since then there has not been that cooling message. Now, again, this was last week, and I was a little bit panicked. I didn't know what to do, and this was before I found out about these DIY techniques. And when I called the dealers, they said, don't drive the car. So I took my car to the airport, and I rented a vehicle for the weekend. And I figured I didn't know what else to do, and so I scheduled it for Monday. I show up at the dealer, and they said it's going to be $150 just to look at it. And I figured, let's do these DIY self-help tips first. And I'm glad I did them, because that saved me a lot of money. I have the car back. And again, I had another busy work day. I went all the way down to near Ithaca and then to Waterloo. Now and there has been no message. Now keep in mind, the temperatures have been cool significantly cooler over the last few days. It was, for example, last week this time was around 60 degrees, and that's when I saw the message the most. The last time I saw that message was Monday night, and again, it was in the 40s, but I've been using the AC, so to see that no more message on that car is a relief. Now, keep in mind, I've had this car for about the past 19 months now, and it's not like the Forester, whereas the Forester would have issue after issue. We had to keep bringing it in to the dealer and pay hundreds, thousands of dollars to try to get one thing fixed after another. The fortunate thing is there hasn't really been much issues with this car. It's been running reliably for the most part, and I was just surprised when I saw that message. It made me panic a little bit, and because I know that this car is as reliable as I think it is. It's very reliable. It hasn't had any mechanical issues, but I'm glad it's over now, and I am glad that it's been fixed. I'm glad that we're back on the show. This is, again, a very special Christmas type of show. We'll be playing Christmas music. I'll be sharing some Christmas traditions and all that kind of stuff. We'll kick it off with one of my favorite Christmas bands of all time, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. This is the Christmas Eve Sarajevo, also known as Carol of the Bells, and some of you might recognize it. And do you know? And try to guess. Let me know in the chat if you recognize this and where we played it live. So please enjoy, and we will be back with more of the pre-weekend kickoff right after this. We will be back with more of the pre-weekend kickoff right after this. Here, the music never dies, and the nostalgia lasts for a lifetime. Keep those memories flowing and the party going with your favorite mix of old and new music right here on Forever Living Radio. And we're back. Yes, Meg, I actually just found the "Mary Did You Know" song by the Jordan Smith cover from the Voice. So I don't. It's going to take me some time to add it. We'll try to get it on before the end of the show. I actually do like that song. Also, a few people in my church sang it. It's quite interesting because you have to think about the Christmas holiday not just on the commercial side, but also the religious side as well. Not to get too much into religion. This isn't a religious show or anything, but I will quickly mention that's the true meaning of the holiday. Think of the name, Christ Mass, which literally means the holiday is about the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ and what he did to make our religion whole and what believing in God and in Jesus actually means and following the Word. And sometimes we know that we don't always do that at every waking moment, but this holiday is here to remind us of the true meaning of the holiday, or at least I hope that it does. Anyway, we even the person who isn't religious, they can appreciate the musical and vocal excellence of the song exactly. And again, I have it in here. It's just going to take me some time to play it, to try to get it into the system. And as we're talking, I'm multitasking and trying to load that into the rotation as we speak so that after this talk break and we go back to the music, I'll try to have it on. In the meantime, I do want to discuss, usually this is the time when I do my show and tell, where I show you pictures of where I've gone in my travels. I am, if you don't know, I am the New York State Road Warrior, or I consider myself to be the New York State Road Warrior. And what that means is I travel a lot for work, and I go to various parts of the state for the jobs that I do. And mostly these are IT types of jobs. And during that travel period, I get to explore and take in all different parts of the state. There are even days where I go all over different parts of the state, even in one day. So today, for example, I started down, as I mentioned, I started in a town called Richford, which is located about southeast of Ithaca. That was at 9 a.m. Then I had to travel through the Finger Lakes all the way up to Waterloo. And these were and these two jobs were installing a clear captions phone for somebody who has a hearing impairment, and they can actually read captions when a call comes, when they're calling somebody or when somebody calls them. Not only can they hear the other person, they can also see the words that the other person is speaking, like captions on a TV. So I did those two. The second one had to be rescheduled because the customer wasn't there. So I wasn't able to do that. And then the final one, I had to go all the way to Newark, and I had to help a bank out. One of the printers at the bank wasn't printing, so I had to install a new cable in the printer, and so I had to take care of that. And during all that time, I had a few hours in between. During all that time, I took in the Finger Lakes, and I took in all the sights and sounds, and pretty much doing all that travel involves going on a lot of back roads, at least for today. And I didn't realize, I mentioned going near Ithaca, and to me I thought Ithaca, I didn't consider Ithaca to be a Finger Lakes town because I thought it wasn't near a lake. But then I looked on the map and I started driving through Ithaca on my way up back to Waterloo, and I realized I didn't know this before. Cayuga Lake, and I'll try to give you a map. Let me see if I can try to pull up a map. But I had no idea that the city of Ithaca is actually just located south of Cayuga Lake. So I didn't really think, and I didn't know that before, because I thought, I mean, you take 81 down and you look, and when you go down 81, you don't really see a lot of lakes or a lot of body of water. When I went down 81 today, I saw, I think, one small lake, and I didn't realize until heading up to Waterloo from Ithaca that Ithaca is actually near one of the Finger Lakes. So I want to know what you think. If you've been down that area. Yep, so if you've been down there, if you've been down towards Ithaca, do you consider Ithaca to be a Finger Lakes town, or do you think it's more southern tier? Or where would you classify Ithaca, or even towns like Geneva or Watkins Glen, or even Skinneapolis, Canandaigua? So as you can see, right here, here's downtown Ithaca, or at least the inner city, and then here's where the inlet comes down, and up here you're not too far from Cayuga Lake. So again, I didn't really. That's the Cornell, also home of Cornell University, which is a big prestigious university as it is. I'll remind you that Hannah Celestino was also a proud alumna of Cornell University. That's a lot of traveling in many directions in one day. Yes, it is. It's on one of the Finger Lake. Yep, Cayuga Lake. Thanks, Mom, for clarifying that. I didn't realize that until I drove by it today. So you learn something every day. You learn something every day, and it's always pretty to go through any region of the state. I especially like heading towards the eastern section of the state, going between Syracuse and Albany. But then there's also something else. And why isn't this playing? Sorry, just difficulty trying to get the next song. The crew teams. Yes, Elizabeth, that is why I am the New York State Road Warrior. And it's all because I get to travel. By the way, I've wanted to make a decal to put on my car, and I've been busy with other things and really haven't been able to put a decal together, but hopefully by the end of this year, my goal before the end of this year is to design some sort of decal that I could put on my car and make it official. A great crew teams from Cornell and Ithaca. They have to chop ice to start growing in the spring on that cave. I did not know that. I did not know that. Did not know that. Did not know. Know that. So I'm just trying to get six. I'm having difficulty trying to load the new song in there. Usually something like this doesn't happen, and I'm trying to get this to do what I want it to do, and sometimes it's more difficult. These technical difficulties that get in the way. And isn't it pulling? Why isn't it pulling the song up? Is it not pulling it? Why isn't it pulling it in the system? Usually I'm able to add a song into the system and it takes it right away. So do I have, so please bear with me as I try to get it into the system. Usually I don't really have a lot of issues with this. And
start. Married to you.
Sometimes it's not. It doesn't really work as well as I want it to, and maybe because I didn't put the VID in. I don't know. It's not letting me put in any. It's not letting me put in anything in, and I don't know. I have no idea what's going on or what may be the issue. So just please bear with me. And we should have. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hopefully, it took it now. No, Meg, I got it. It's called something else. And I am sorry to waste everyone's time. But I got it. We have it here. And just please bear with me as I try to get this on. Okay. Replace. Sorry. Here we go. I got it to work. We'll be back with more, and this isn't just Christmas. This is also Kenny. Did I just say Ken and Kelly? Ken and Kelly. That's a different couple. They're the people who know AJR. No, that's a different one. Kyle and Kelly. Kyle and Kelly's second anniversary. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to try to do some more interactive content, games. Sorry, there's no bumper to dump it tonight, but we're going to play a fun game, and we're going to try and play a fun game instead, involving Christmas traditions. So, this is Mary Did You Know by Jordan Brooks, Jordan Smith, and Tommy Prophet. We got some more Christmas music, got more exciting stuff coming up later on. Christmas music, got more exciting stuff coming up later on. Remember, sharing is caring. Click the share button at the bottom left-hand corner of this page to share the link to the station with your family, friends, co-workers, anyone you like.
Mary, did you know that your
Okay, are you ready to play a game? This is a new game that this is a new game that I'm gonna just try on the whim of it, and the rules are pretty simple. I'm going to give you a true or false statement, and if you know me that well, you can say either true. You can say whether this statement is a true or false, and it's going to be some sort of family Christmas tradition that either I or this family's done. This will be especially interesting for you, Meg, since since you haven't observed, since you're not a member of the family, so you're the only non-family member on here. So this will be quite interesting, and try to guess whether or not these statements are true or false. But here's the first one, and try to guess whether this is true or false. In our family's history, okay, your computer's very slow. That's okay, Mom. It doesn't really matter. Okay, here's question number one, and I'll put it in the chat. True or false? Our family, now keep in mind, everything that my family have done before I was born doesn't count. Because I wouldn't have known unless I've heard it somewhere from either Mom or Aunt Janet or Dad, what Dad has told me. But since I was born, which was back in 1988, and that's what I'm going with. But since I was born, my family, true or false, my family has never had a real Christmas tree. We've never had, true or false, we've never had a real Christmas tree in our house for Christmas. True or false? False. Let's see what. I think Elizabeth and Meg are getting on to something here. Let's see what Aunt Janet and Mom have to say. So the statement is we've never had a real Christmas tree in our house. True or false? Aunt Janet and Mom. What's your answer to that? We've never had a real Christmas tree. From 1988 on. We've always had artificial trees every year. Is that true or false? As we wait for Mom to give her answer, that false is correct. Back in 1997, I think it was 1996 to 1997 was the only year that we've actually had a real Christmas tree. And I think back in 2019, it was 1996. The Christmas of 1996, and I remember this correctly. And Mom's right, it flooded the house. It flooded the dining room over at 51 Oswego Street. Ever since then, we've had artificial trees. And actually, I have one of the artificial trees. I was planning to set that up. I haven't set that up yet, but let me show you what I have. Or at least this is the top part of it, and Elizabeth wanted me to try to set this up tonight. This is the top part, and it's an artificial tree, and this is actually one that we had over at 51 Oswego Street back in, I think, in 2011, 2012, and I decided when I moved over here in 2020 to bring it over here. And it actually comes in 3 parts, and it's actually easy to set up. The hard part is to separate the branches. So I'm just going to put these parts over here, for the time being. Some of these parts are huge, but some of these parts are bigger than the others. And there's so much stuff in the closet. There's so much stuff in the closet, and getting it out is sometimes a hard thing to do. And so we've had this for about 11 years. Yes, Christmas is almost here, and it's time to get up the tree. Tomorrow, usually I have this up earlier, but tomorrow Elizabeth, Alex, and Matt and Dad are going to come help me decorate the tree, and I'm going to try to set this up as much as I can. So that is the first correct. That is the first correct answer, and we'll give you just one more, and we'll give you a song to think of. We'll actually give you a song to think of it. We had one of those Christmas water containers that held 5 to 10 gallons of water. The container leaked. Yes, I've had that artificial tree since about 2012. But then I remember over at 33 Downer Street for the past couple of years, I think 2019 through 2022, we actually went over to the local, what used to be the Agway store here in Baldwinsville, and we actually got a real tree. And as far as I know, did you have any issues with the flooding? I don't remember any, but you can tell me otherwise. Here we go. Here's the next question. This is actually a two-part question, but every Christmas Eve we celebrate with a Friendly's ice cream dessert product known as the what is it called? For those of you who've celebrated with us before, it's the first person to give me the name of the ice cream dessert product that we use. We bought one tree, maybe true. No, okay, that's at least better than flooding. Okay, anyway, the first person to give me the name of the dessert or the Friendly's frozen ice cream dessert that we use, or that we eat every year. So it used to be on Christmas Eve, sometime it was Christmas Day. The Jubilee roll, that is correct. Now, here's the true or false part. Let's see if you can get this one. Friendly's still makes the Jubilee. Can you tell me this? Does Friendly's still make the Jubilee roll product? True or false? Don't give me an answer just now. I'm going to play a song. You're going to put your answers in the chat. Elizabeth, you beat me to it. Let's give everybody else a chance to answer. Here's a song. Enjoy this. We'll come up with it. We'll give the answer when we come back. It's not that fun partying alone, or maybe As a music lover and as a percussion player. As a music lover and as a percussion player. As a music lover and as a percussion lover, meaning somebody who actually played percussion in high school and college and kind of still does to this day, it's videos like this which freak me out, and I'm glad that you like that video. And Jen, it's actually a combination of, as I mentioned in the chat, there's an artist named Winter Garden who made a video called The Marble Machine, and that was inspired by Animusic's Pipe Dream, which came before it. And what you saw in that last video was a combination of those two kind of colliding. Well, I have the original Pipe Dream and the original Pipe Dream video that you would like to see if we can play that next. But to begin or try to play it further down the line. So to go back to the trivia game, the correct answer is false. Friendly's, as of 2021, has stopped production of the Jubilee Roll as well as all their other ice cream rolls that they've had. They've also had, there was a celebration roll, there was an orange roll, there's a watermelon roll. There was a lot, but I remember going to Friendly's myself, and keep in mind there's only one Friendly's restaurant here in the Syracuse Onondaga County area, and that's all the way up on Route 31 here in Clay. And I believe what they told me was the plant which made those ice cream rolls shut down, and as a result, they weren't making them anymore. So they still make their ice cream cakes, and that means this year we got to try to find a different, an alternative product for us to share. Let me go get deeper a little bit into that tradition. I don't know exactly when it or how it started, but back in the 90s, every Christmas Eve, after we would attend the family church service, we would have what's called a carousel, and which had all these different Christmas figures circling around, and there were candles that you would light on the base of that carousel. And as we sat around the table, we would read from the Bible, from the book of Luke, the passages from the Bible that related, that told the story of Christmas. And as each of us took turns reading a passage from the Bible, we would then light a candle. I think there were about 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 different candles that we would light, and eventually the force from the flames of the candles would cause the carousel to spin on its own. Unfortunately, it no longer spins because we've broken it, or we've damaged it, unfortunately, to the point where it no longer spins on its own. So, but we still like, even up to this day, we still use it. And after doing all that, then we would eat the Jubilee rolls. So unfortunately, we won't be, as of 2021, we won't be eating any more Jubilee rolls anymore. And we'll just have to use a different product. I remember one year we actually changed it up a little bit because we didn't have any Bibles to read. So instead of doing passages, I think we just made it up as we went along, and we used music. We played a song, and one of those songs, like, okay, so here's the other question. Here's the next question. This happened 10 years ago. So if you can give me the name of one of the songs, or the big song, one of the songs that you remember from us doing it that year. We're going to play a different song, actually. We're going to play another Pipe Dream video, and you'll have this next one to think about it and give me an answer. Name one of name the song that we used that year. So, if you can give me the name of one of the songs that we played to do the Jubilee roll and to enact the Christmas the Christmas story. You can think of one of the songs that we played. Put it in the chat, and we'll reveal the answers coming up after Pipe 3. Reveal the answers coming up after Pipe 3. I'm amazed every time I see those videos. I'm amazed every time I see those videos. I'm amazed every time. It's not a live video. What you're actually seeing is computer animation. Keep in mind that. So, what you're actually seeing in these videos is not real life. It is computer-generated animation. However, back in 2006, there was a hoax going around thinking that the music machine actually did exist, and it was located in the university. No, it was built in the University of Iowa and it was actually made of John Deere farm equipment, and of course the whole thing was made up. But that's one of the things that's that's one of the things that one may think when watching these videos, thinking that they're real. But they're not. They're just computer animated. Rube Goldberg production with music. I don't really know who Rube Goldberg is. Okay, let me just try to look that up. Rube Gold. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is I see the Rube Goldberg made all these different interesting contraptions. Oh, I get that. Going back to the question, one of the songs that we played 10 years ago when we didn't have music, it's Elizabeth and Elizabeth and Mom are correct. It is Lord's Royals, and we actually, if I can get this to work, we should have it because I added it during the break. It was really funny because we were trying to think of the game we played, the Mousetrap. Oh yes, I remember the Mousetrap. It was very difficult to set up and involved a lot of moving parts. Your objective was to catch the mouse. So we're actually going to play the song that we used, and then we'll be taking another break. And then after that, we have another NSYNC song from the movie Trolls. Trolls Band Together, Matt and I actually saw that in theaters last weekend. I thought it was excellent. So we're going to take you back to 2013, and please enjoy Lord with Royals. And coming up to close the show, we will obviously honor Kelly and Kyle's second anniversary. And there's no bumper to dumper tonight because I couldn't get any newer songs in. So we'll be back. We'll be back. looks like everyone is getting tired. So we're going to sign off. I know we're going to talk about Ken. We're going to talk about Kyle and Kelly's wedding. Just briefly, so we're going to say that for tomorrow's show. Aunt Janet came up with an answer. One of the questions, vegetable lasagna. So now this is Jeopardy style. What is the question? So if anybody's still here, can put in the question that goes with vegetable lasagna, has to do with Christmas traditions. Please let me know. But in the meantime, programming note, I will tell you that we'll have another show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Kelly said she will be on tomorrow, and we will do more with her and anybody else who wants to join tomorrow night right here on right here on Forever Living Radio. We'll celebrate the second anniversary. We'll do more Christmas stuff. We'll have another bonus show before the big holiday before the big holiday comes up. And we'll try to answer the other question. But I know everybody gets tired at night. Mazel tov, and if you're still here tomorrow night, we'd love to have you on. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and it's going to be a big one. But until then, Mazel tov and have a good night. Mazel tov and have a good night. Remember, sharing is caring. Click the share button at the bottom.